Yeah, check it. Listen up, we're making noise. Strictly Sports Podcast, bringing all the toys. Be wise, Miles, and Trigger. We the three wise men. Dropping knowledge, breaking records. It's our mission, man. From the field to the court, we cover it all. No topic too big, no team too small. We analyze, we debate, we bring that heat. Strictly Sports crew taking over the beat. Strictly Sports Podcast.
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Strictly Sports. I am one of your hosts, Be Wise,
Miles.
Trigger.
and this is another episode of Strictly Sports. How y'all doing today, fellas?
I'm sick of the snow.
Ah! Hey, doing well.
Hey, well, we got 100% coming next Thursday, so
I know,
Stop.
yeah. Well,
Please, no.
in the metro, in Central Virginia. I don't know about your area, but
Well, yeah, we got blitzed out here too.
yeah, y'all get it worse than we do. Y'all get
Yeah.
actual snow. We get sleet, rain, mixtures.
ice, all the other
Yeah.
stuff we don't want.
Yeah, I
I'd rather take snow than what we get.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
got up to go to work yesterday morning, and it started as I was driving to work. By the time I got to work, the grounds were pretty much covered already. Just that quick.
Yeah, it needs to go away. I thought Kentucky Phil said we about to get some springtime, but we shall see. But all right, let's get into it. First topic of the day. The Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, won Super Bowl 59 with a final score of 40-22 over the Kansas City Chiefs. What's your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, let me just, as painful me as to say this, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. But just want to, say something, give a shout out to Jeffrey Lurie, who is the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Howie Roseman, who is the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman is definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. But, with this game, I think it's safe to say the Philadelphia Eagles have been the most consistent team in the NFC since the millennium. Out of 24 years, they have made the playoffs 17 times. 2 of those years, McNabb was hurt. And then 3 of the years, the Chip Kelly regime, which was an absolute mess. So, 17 out of 24 years is amazing. 8 NFC championship games, 5 in 9 years during the Donovan McNabb time. 4 Super Bowl appearances and 2 Super Bowl victories. They are tied for the most Super Bowl victories in the NFC in this millennium. They have the most NFC championship games, and I think they have the most playoff appearances during the millennium. So, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, they doing big things. I wish their division rival could, do that, but that's a story for another day. But I did not see this coming. The Kansas City Chiefs got their ass whooped. It was a full-on ass whooping. I did not see this coming. Jalen Hurts won the MVP, but if they could really get that to, really make that award meaningful, that award should have went to the defensive line. What happened?
We gonna get into that.
Oh, my bad. Am I getting ahead of something? Yeah, but they dominated on all 3 phases of the ball: offense, defense, special teams. The only person who had a worse night than Patrick Mahomes was Drake, and that was just Patrick Mahomes just did not have a good game. All of it wasn't his fault, but he could have played better. But when you got guys in your face every play or you're running for your life, it's kind of hard. But good job by the Eagles. They dominated. It was 40-6 at one point. I know the score was 40-22, but that it wasn't that close. The Chiefs got those points in garbage time. It was 40-6. Middle of the third quarter. It was pretty bad. But the Eagles, they dominated throughout the whole playoffs. Outside the Rams game, they dominated the playoffs. So,
Trigger, what's your thoughts? Thank you for that, Mouse.
Yeah, along with Miles, man, I did not see the blowout coming for either side. I thought it'd be a close matchup either way. I picked the Chiefs to win because who in their right mind would pick against them, right? Doing all the success they've had, even when they've shown that they can be a little vulnerable at times, which they had all season long. So I guess the writing was on the wall for this game. However, again, still did not see this coming. You think the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? They were 2 weeks to prepare. I mean, how does this happen, right? If I had to give the Chiefs one credit though, they did a great job uh, containing Saquon Barkley. Clearly, that was their game plan. They were not going to let beat them, and they did a masterful job holding him to under 60 yards rushing, which might be the worst he's had all season. So we've seen Saquon Barkley rush for over 100 yards in 13 out of the 17 regular season games. So, and in one game he didn't even play. So really out of 16 games. So that's pretty impressive, And obviously some of those games he went over 200 yards rushing. So that's the kind of player that they had right there, and the Chiefs knew that, and they had 2 weeks to figure out how they want to stop him, and they did. The problem is the offense forgot to show up, and then obviously Jalen Hurts did and took advantage of what the defense did to put points up and stay up the entire game and cruise basically to a Super Bowl victory. So I'm a little disappointed that the Chiefs didn't show up, given that they were two-time champs, uh, trying to go for something that's never been done in the NFL, which is win 3 championships in a row. They had the opportunity to do so, and they just came out flat. Didn't really look like they were really into the game. They couldn't get going. They had no rhythm offensively, and their defense was on the field for far too long. And when that happens, no matter how good they are, top 10 or not, at some point they're gonna fold, they're gonna bend, they're gonna break, and we saw all that happen in the game. Congrats to the Eagles on the win. They deserved it. And they went out there and they showed the world why they are the best team or should be regarded as the best team in football.
Thank you for that trigger. And I like what you said. Who would have saw it coming? I saw it coming. The world. I saw the Philadelphia Eagles winning, as me being the only person on the show to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought it was going to be a blowout coming into it, thinking about it. I picked Philly 41 to 38. But
That's not a blowout.
that wasn't a blowout, but I had a feeling in my heart that it was going to be a blowout after seeing what happened in Kansas City last time, the offensive line, and we saw Philly get to them with 4. So,
Yeah, speaking of that, Philadelphia did not blitz not one time
not
during
one
that
time.
game.
Further making our point why the defense was the most valuable asset on the field for
Well,
Philly.
let's get into it. We don't got to run from it no more. We can get into it. How you doing, Lady Ray? How you doing? We saw you. How you doing? We don't got to run from it no more. We don't got to run from it no more. Did Jalen deserve the Super Bowl MVP? I say hell yeah. Y'all give me.
By the letter of the law, yeah, because you can't give it to multiple people.
Right.
No one really stood out. I mean, I guess you could have given it to Cooper DeJean. He had a pick six. But outside of that, no one really stood out. Jalen Hurts, he had an okay game, 17 for 22, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. But I think what really made him win the award was the 70 rushing yards. Um,
Yeah. Especially with
217 yards is
Saquon.
not,
Yeah, not running. Yep.
yeah, 217 yards is not really all that, not in today's time, especially when you have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goddard in the best offensive line. So I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. He didn't cost them the game, but hell, it's kind of hard to lose a game when your defense did what they did. Hell, the defense for the most part scored more points than Kansas City did. Um, so
I thought you were about to say the offense. So.
I mean, but I mean, you got to give it to somebody, and only one person can win. So when in doubt, they give it to the quarterback. This reminds me of 2013 when the Ravens won the Super Bowl and they gave it to Joe Flacco when everybody thought Jacoby Jones should have won it.
Yeah.
So, when in doubt, give it to the quarterback.
Yeah,
Shout out
and Patrick
Deion Brand.
Mahomes. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago. I can't remember if it was against the Niners. I think it was against the
That was
Niners.
against the the
Or was it
Eagles.
the
When
The
Eagles?
Eagles.
Where
It was the Eagles. Pacheco
yeah,
had like 90 on the ground.
yeah, he didn't have a great game throwing the ball either. And what they do, they gave the award to him. So it's like, you know, it could go elsewhere. Obviously, it's a group of people or a team or whatever, but like they gotta choose one.
And if you really look at Patrick Mahomes, oh well, I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves, man.
Look, he just all right.
Yeah,
I hear what y'all saying, but I looked further into it, and like I said, Jalen Hurts came up big when he needed to come up big, and I see why he won the award. First drive, it was a punt. for the Eagles, punt for
Shouldn't have
the
been. Shouldn't have been, by
Chiefs.
the way.
Yeah. So on that touchdown drive, what do you think the biggest play of that drive was?
On what? The first touchdown?
Yes.
Probably when he threw it to Devontae Smith at the 1 yard line.
That Jahan Dotson. He threw
Yeah,
to Jahan
Where
Dotson.
Jahan
for the
Dotson was
Dotson, but
wide
he
the
got
fuck open.
yeah.
So I mean, it ain't
Yeah.
like I guess it was a good read, but Jahan Dotson was wide open.
That was gonna be a touch. It was ruled a touchdown, but it got overturned. But that's 7-0. KC punts. That's the end of the first quarter. Second quarter,
He throws a pick.
Jalen Hurts throws the pick. KC punts. Field goal drive. What was the biggest play of that field goal drive?
Probably Jalen Hurts' legs.
It was 22-yard pass to AJ Brown.
So on 3rd and 7.
Yep, on
Somebody
3rd and
was
7.
third down play. Yeah, I
Third
remember
down,
that.
22-yard pass, AJ Brown.
Back shoulder throw. Yeah, that was a good pass. You made a good pass.
Okay.
So that 10-0. The interception happens. That's the pick six. 17-0.
Yep. That was it right there, in my opinion.
Then you got the punt. Then you got Philly punted. Then you got the other interception. Then you got the touchdown drive, 24-0. That's the one where Jalen Hurts hit AJ Brown for the touchdown. So again, Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown. We up 24-0. Kansas City punts into half. Here's where I think you give Jalen Hurts the award at. So third quarter, KC punts. Then it's a field goal for it to be 27-0. Jalen Hurts has a 16-yard run and a 22-yard pass on that drive, the biggest plays. You go get a field goal, drop 27-0. Kansas City, that's when they went for it, right? They went for it on 4th and 4 and didn't get it. So it's 27-0. This touchdown right here in the third quarter, the 46-yard one play touchdown to Devontae Smith, I think is where that game you cut it off. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP.
I disagree. You cut that game off at Cooper DeZean's pick six. It was 27-0 late in the third quarter when he threw that touchdown.
It was, I mean, you come back. If you don't get that touchdown right there, they score. It's 27-6. And then
they ain't, but that's the thing. They ain't scoring.
The Chiefs are going to come back from a 27-point deficit that late in the game.
Tom Brady did it.
That's Tom Brady.
Excuse me.
That's Tom Brady.
But hey, if you are the GOAT,
well,
as we go into our next topic,
clearly
as we go into our next topic, I mean,
like I said, he by the letter of the law, yes, he deserved it because no one else stood out. And when in doubt,
yards, 3 touchdowns. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 300 yards. What?
Yeah, 200-some yards passing, 70 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns.
I think it was 217 and 72 yards rushing.
221 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he had 72 yards rushing. What is 93? So 300 yards. 293, 300 yards.
All right, so here's my thing with the defense, man. Like Jalen Hurts.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, Trigger. That okay.
Yeah.
He had 3 touchdowns, but can we not count that tush push? We really gonna count the tush push?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Trigger.
Either that or he has a passing touchdown. So I mean, he's gonna count for one either way. If Jahan Dotson did not get down to 1, it would have been a passing touchdown. So he still
okay, I'll give you that.
He still would have had the 3rd touchdown, whether it been rushing or passing on his resume. But making the case for the defense, like again, all the points. I mean, Jalen Hurts benefited from a great defensive performance. Like he took advantage. He did what he needed to do at the quarterback position because the defense came and played their asses off. There's no getting around that. I mean, just look at the stats. They forced 3 turnovers. All of them were deep in their in Kansas City territory, which they got points on all of them. Well, they had to pick 6. The offense didn't even come on the field for one of those turnovers because it was a pick 6. But they got points on the other 2. And, that set the stage for Jalen Hurts. Now, everybody knows that when
17 points off turnovers.
There you go. So if you take away those points off the scoreboard, we got a ball game, if you look at it. So the defense, even more of a case as to why the defense was valuable in this game. Also, Jalen Hurts, any quarterback in the league can tell you, and it's based off experience, just being an athlete, anytime you're winning, anytime you're up big, the confidence is there. You're more loose. You're more relaxed. You're willing to do more and try more things because you got a big cushion to fall back on in case it falls. or fails. So Jalen Hurts can throw that pass to Devontae Smith, late in the third quarter when they're already up 27-0, because if he throws a pick or if it's incomplete or whatever, what's the worst that could happen, right? So I don't think maybe they attempt that, if the game's on the line, maybe do something a little bit more conservative. Maybe they turn around and hand it off to Barkley, but because Barkley wasn't really doing a whole lot, they figure, all right, well, maybe we can throw the ball down the field a little bit. We got a big lead. Jalen has not been a passing quarterback as much all year long. Well, our run game is not doing it. We're up 27-0. Let's take a shot. And they did, and they benefited off of it. So, and then the defense, like I said, they got 6 sacks against Mahomes. They were on him all night long, and they didn't even blitz. They were rushing 4 guys and got 6 sacks. Did not blitz one time. Like, you gotta take that into account. You gotta consider that. And then, like I said, the 3 turnovers, the pick 6, all the dropbacks, the rushes, the hurries. I mean, the Chiefs just did not look comfortable offensively. They were on and off the field. I think they had at one point in the first half like 24 total yards. Like, you're not going to win a lot of football games when you're playing like that and you're turning the ball over. And you turn the ball over deep in your own territory. So, yes, Jalen Hurts deserved to win MVP because he went out there and he did what he was supposed to do because of the defense. The defense, like they played them. I don't think I've ever seen a defense play as good as that I can remember in recent memory. Like they really, like that was a textbook defensive performance. Like Vic Fangio, give it to him. Give him the MVP award. Like he the one that's calling the shots. Say this. You want to talk about individuals? Give him the MVP award. But Vic Fangio, I mean, the game plan for them not to blitz and still get 6 sacks, to pick him off and return one for a touchdown, to force a fumble. I mean, just you got to give it up, man. And like I say, Jalen Hurts, he didn't have to do a whole lot because the defense was on their job. And that's what every quarterback wants to do, right? No quarterback wants to be playing from behind all the time and having to water down the playbook and then feel all that pressure and have to put everything on your shoulders and try to carry a team. We've seen guys do it, and I haven't seen Jalen Hurts do it enough, which I think why so many people were not like, all right, he won the MVP, but like,
Jalen Hurts has had a different
good.
coordinator for every year I believe he's been in the league.
Yeah, that's true. Yes,
we'll have one next year too.
And been to two Super Bowls.
Yep. So I mean, it's doable. I mean, Jalen Hurts went out there and he didn't have to do much, and the little much that he did do was as a result of having a cushion.
That man played quarterback at the Super Bowl against the 2-time defending champions.
Yep. And then again, the Chiefs' top defense, but it's hard to be a top defense when you pin deep in your own territory when your offense keep giving the ball away. So
they missed Ladarius Sneed. They missed Sneed right here in the Super Bowl.
They was missing a bunch of people they probably not let go over the years. But yeah, I mean, it's tough in that position when you're on the field as much as the Kansas City defense was. And then those 3 turnovers. Well, 2 of the turnovers the defense had to come out on the field. And then those 2 turnovers you had to come out there and try to defend. Like, you ain't getting no breaks, no rest because your offense ain't doing you no favors. They can't sustain any drives. And now you're back out there trying to defend in the red zone to keep the Eagles from scoring. Like that's a hard task to do, even for a top 10 defense. So congratulations to Hurts. He took advantage of great play from his defense. But again, I think the defense and their plays that they made and the havoc they created, it shines a little bit brighter than him winning the MVP award.
I think they need those voters that gave it to Malcolm Butler in that Super Bowl. So
yeah, maybe. But again, not taking anything away from Hurts, man. He did his thing. He did what he needed to do, and he took advantage. So that's what you want your quarterback to do.
Tom Brady deserved that MVP that year. Malcolm Butler just made one great play. Tom Brady dominated that game, that Super Bowl.
If Marshawn scores that touchdown, does Russell Wilson win Super Bowl MVP?
Probably. I think Marshawn.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Marshawn.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Marshawn.
Marshawn probably won it because he had over 100 yards that game, and then he had like a 40-yard receiving play.
Speaking of Marshawn Lynch, Super Bowl halftime show from Kendrick Lamar.
What's he got to do with Marshawn Lynch?
West Coast.
Okay.
Come on now. Oh, come
I
on,
got you.
come on, come on.
Oh, my bad. I mean, because
Come on.
my bad. I mean, because Marshawn's from Oakland, Kendrick's from LA. So that's why I was trying
Yeah,
to get it.
that's the West
Two
Coast,
different areas in California.
but it's the West Coast.
I got you. Now you
The
right.
West Coast is the second best coast. So,
Hmm.
what was y'all thoughts on the halftime show?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. With Kendrick Lamar, he makes you think. He's not gonna just a typical rap show where he's grabbing his nuts and saying put him up, put him up. He's gonna actually he does stuff. He entertains. He does choreography. Um, he had a lot of subliminal messages. With Kendrick Lamar, you're not gonna get
Marshawn does
everything.
not, Lady Ray.
No, he don't. Um, you're not going to get everything what Kendrick is trying to say. You have to look at it over and over. But I thought it was pretty good. I like the message. Um, Kendrick is very petty. I don't know if y'all see that lowercase a chain that
That's
is
a lie.
symbolizing something, which I didn't realize until after the halftime show. He brought in Serena Williams, the Crip Walk, like
What the A symbolize? I
A
A
didn't see
minor,
that.
minor.
A minor.
Oh,
He also had little kids waving a flag with the lowercase a as well. Um,
Did y'all see? And the protester. They had a
yeah,
protester come on and everything.
he had the protester. He had Samuel Jackson as Uncle Sam saying,
that
don't
was
upset.
brilliant.
Yeah, don't upset. We got to play the game. You don't want to be too loud. You don't want to be too ghetto. We got to keep things calm. And so shout out to Samuel Jackson. But I thought overall I would give it a B plus. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. And then I just think he told Drake, "Game is over. Like turn his TV off. I'm done with you." So,
And Drake turned that lawsuit on.
oh, he did.
Oh, it's gonna be a lawsuit. It's
Oh,
this
okay.
this is going further. Somebody had to okay this. Like somebody had to okay him saying
Say,
that.
well, he did say pedophile, because I was like, if he say pedophile, oh, that's when shit gonna hit the fan. But he did
He's
say Drake's name, and he played with us because that was $1 million question. Is he gonna play not like us? And then in the beginning of the performance, he played the beat like am I gonna play it? Then he went to another song, and that's when he dropped it. And and then when he said say Drake, he looked dead into the camera, started smiling. I just thought. It was just very petty. Like, Kendrick is not somebody to fuck with in a rap beef. So,
Yeah. Miles, you made a really good point about how with guys like Kendrick Lamar, when they're putting something together like this, because obviously not a lot of rappers, I want to say, like put a lot of detail into their what they do, but like not a lot of rappers like relay a message in the format and the way that Kendrick does. And when you said that, you kind of have to go back, like you ain't gonna get it all one time through. You got to go back and watch it several times and like catch different things and really break it down to see what he's trying to do. And that's exactly what I've been doing. Like, and I'm still kind of sifting through, but like slowly over the last couple of days since the performance, I've been seeing things and seeking out things on social media, just trying to break down everything that I saw. And some things I did catch on watching the first time through, watching it live, and then some other things I kind of read about or saw later that made sense. Like the bell bottoms. For instance, I saw this earlier today. He's wearing the bell bottoms. Everybody's talking about the bell bottoms, but everyone's talking about the bell bottoms, and and they brought up the Drake bell, Nickelodeon Drake and Josh.
mm-hmm.
Bell bottom. Like Drake started from the bottom. Now we're here. And Drake Bell was allegedly another Nickelodeon star. I don't know if y'all watched the Nickelodeon documentary.
Yeah, Drake and
He was
Josh.
on there, yeah, on there talking about the whole, Nickelodeon thing that happened. So like for them, I don't know if people overanalyzed and made that seem to be something that,
Reach.
but
Yeah, I
like
think that might be a reach.
but I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. I mean, like it kind of does make sense, but I'm
It
like,
does.
it's a little detail. So like some of the stuff you hear, like you got to find a way to find it in your mind and use your own judgment, I guess, to see if that would really be something that he will be willing to go that far to do. But like I thought it was interesting. People bring up the bell bottoms and like, oh, that was symbolism for something, and that be the reason. But not sure, not confirmed. But the lowercase a you just pointed out, I had no idea until you just said something about that. I know it had the little American flag thing that dances like creating the flag, and then they would divide it to represent division in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was another thing that I saw. And obviously, Serena Williams, her being Drake's ex, Samuel L. Jackson being Uncle Sam, and his real name actually being Samuel. Um, like, those are little things that I kind of caught, watching the first time through. And there's some other stuff I've seen out there too about that performance. The look into the camera when he said, "Say Drake," and smiled and like, just the deviant smile. Like he knew what he was doing. He's very
I,
intentional with his facial expressions, very intentional with the camera angles. I like how I think one of my favorite parts of the halftime show is when they slowed it down, like when Samuel L. Jackson, was making the comments about don't be too ghetto, don't be too loud, whatever, like giving people what they want. So he started playing something a little bit more sensual, something,
mm,
he brought SZA out, it was a little bit more of a R&B feel, slowed things down, and then he, fired it right back up. And also, no doubt in my mind, I knew he was gonna play, a lot like us. Like it never dawned on me. There was never a possibility in my mind that he was not going to play that song. Like I just thought, when is it gonna happen? Is it gonna be the first song? It's gonna be one of the last songs? It's gonna be in the middle? Like I just knew at some point he was gonna bring that song out. There was. I know some people were kind of, I don't know, or I don't think he should, but I was like, man, Kendrick, that song was way too popular. You're in the Super Bowl in front of a lot of people who probably never heard of you or never seen you before, and this is this is literally a diss song is like, the number one, song or club song in the country or in the world.
5 Grammys.
And like you don't want Grammys off of it. Like you got to play that song for that reason. You
mm.
got to play that song. It would be a bad business decision to not play that song.
I
So
think
he had to do it.
I think it's safe to say if it weren't for this song, he would not be performing at the Super Bowl.
Facts.
Yeah, that's a great take. Even though we've known Kendrick for a long time, he's been in the game for a minute, and he has a lot of hits. But this is really the first one that's kind of gone like super mainstream to where like maybe other audiences who probably don't know who he is kind of found out who he is because of that song.
And Trigger.
This man got middle-aged white men screaming A minor, like
And that's
Yeah,
and that's why I want to ask you, and I tell y'all that lawsuit is gonna turn up because of what you just said. This is the first song that really had that backing and that push to go and do all this, and look at what it turned into. So, I mean,
how can
maybe
Drake
that's
sue him for
weak
um
man,
for defamation when he called
weak,
Kendrick a woman beater and said his child is not his?
then
weak,
Kendrick
weak
countersued
man.
for defamation.
See, I've lost some respect for Drake because like rap beef, it's back and forth like the records. That's where you settle. You settle it,
Drake
on
from
the field,
Toronto.
in the ring, what. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But like that's how it should be. But like people throw diss shots at one another, whatever. You just duke it out through music, right?
Right.
You don't do all this legal stuff. Like I've never seen or heard of any situations where rappers get so butthurt in their feelings or whatever that they got to go and seek legal action because it's too much. Like, nah, man, step up, defend yourself, say something back. Even if the stuff might be true about you, I don't know, find something on him. Everybody got some dirt on him. You
Mm-hmm.
can find something, and then if they've been in the industry long enough, they done did something somewhere that you can go pull up and use against them. Like he's doing it to him, and like I said, he had his own allegations. He talking about defamation when he done called this man, like you said, a woman beater and all this other stuff. So like, you know, Kendrick ain't filed no lawsuit. Kendrick
Right.
went in the booth, came back at him. And now Drake is, I don't know if he getting nervous, getting tight or whatever, or maybe he thinking he got some more stuff on him. I don't know, but like for him, I think it looks kind of weak to go out and take this and take legal action. I don't like it. Um, but again, we don't really see people do stuff like that, and I think a lot of people kind of felt the same way. I saw online saying Drake is that's real. It's kind of not how we do things. Like you really going to the courts with this? Like really? Like I don't know. If anything, if what Kendrick's saying is true, he would be the one to get in trouble. I would think.
Right.
If Kendrick's able to show some kind of proof or something, or somebody would have come forward and say something. So and don't be surprised if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I just don't like the whole legal thing of it. The whole lawsuit stuff and all that. Like I don't know. It's kind of soft to me in this day and age. But again, might be why I said he's from Toronto. Maybe that's what they do.
And
That's
he's
what they do
Also,
up
I
there.
also want to mention Drake dated SZA too. So I mean, I don't think
Yes.
I
Yep.
don't think that's a coincidence she was performing either.
I mean, even when
all
Kendrick
going on
Lamar,
tour, going on the whole tour.
that's why I like to say, even when Kendrick Lamar announced he was going on tour with, I knew that was just another layer to the beef with Drake. Now this man about to go on tour with his ex.
Side note: we have changed the tour to the Charlotte date for
But
people.
to be fair, she is part of TDE. So I mean, it ain't like
Yeah,
he just
still, but
he just randomly
everybody,
picked. She is part
Kendrick
of
is
TDE.
diabolical.
Oh
yeah,
And
yeah.
he definitely to a T, to a T.
and speaking of legacies, talking about how this beef may have hurt Drake's legacy. Is
It hurt.
Patrick Mahomes a top five quarterback?
Yes.
Thank you,
Um,
Miles.
I did not think he was a top five, but Wise, you talked me into it. I think why I didn't put him in top five is because longevity. He only has 32,000 passing yards, which is because he just hasn't played long enough. But I mean, 7 seasons. Yeah, I really don't count the eighth. I mean, he's been in the league for 8 years, but he only played for seven.
He
His
played the last
season his
game.
season
He
has
played the last
ended.
game of his first season.
Yeah, his season ended no earlier than the last Sunday in January. Every
Pretty
year
tough.
he's made it to at least the AFC Championship game. Um, 3 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowl appearances. Now, I will say one thing that will hurt him is that he has not performed well in Super Bowls, win or losses. That first Super Bowl against San Fran, he threw 2 picks. Then the Tom Brady Super Bowl, we all know how bad he was. The Philly game, he did not have no turnovers, but he only had like 182 yards passing. And then last year's Super Bowl, he played. I mean, he played well towards the end. And then this Super Bowl, he did not play well at all. So he's gonna have to play better in the big moments. Um, I will probably have to say Brady, Montana, Manning. Um, Brady, Montana, Manning. I guess I could put Mahomes at number four, unless I'm missing some. Aaron Rodgers. I put Aaron Rodgers at number four.
Why is
Hey,
Aaron Rodgers
man.
over Patrick Mahomes?
Hey, man.
Well, because he has, a jillion yards. He is the greatest thrower of the football I've ever seen.
62,952
He
yards.
has some of the worst mechanics as a quarterback, and he still throws it. I think he has one of the best touchdown interception ratio in NFL history. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, I think Aaron Rodgers is like number two in passer rating. Now, yes, I can't defend him during the postseason. Um,
Aaron
but
Rodgers is number one in passer rating. You were
oh,
number two is
okay,
Russell.
yeah. So yeah, but I will give the nod because Joe Montana, he's like Michael Jordan. He is unblemished in Super Bowls. John Montana is 4-0, 12 touchdowns and 0 picks in 4 Super Bowls. So that's why I will put Montana at number two. Peyton Manning, you never seen someone. I mean, he is truly the sheriff. He is running the show. I've never seen someone run an offense like he has. Again, he does not have the greatest playoff success, but things he did, I don't think would be unmatched. Um, so I will put Mahomes at number five, right at number five. But I think eventually he'll be in the top three. I think he will pass Manning and Montana. I don't know if he will pass Brady.
So what
Hard
makes
pass,
top
Brady.
five? What makes top five? What are we going on? What are we basing? Because everybody, like with the LeBron and NJ debate, I don't know what we basing on. So what are we basing our top five on for this
All right,
criteria?
so stats
What
in the Super
stats?
Bowl and stats.
Super
Um,
Bowls,
Postseason success.
Postseason
postseason.
success. Unless one thing you're certain, so like Peyton Manning, he
MVPs.
has like 10 playoff victories, but he has like what 11 playoff losses.
Are
Um,
are we doing success in their before 30 season?
No, it's all the whole totality.
Because Patrick Mahomes only got, so I think we should do before 30 because you can't give everybody's whole career against
Oh
Patrick
well, if it's
Mahomes.
before
Before
30, then
30,
Patrick Holmes is
he
number
number
one.
one. Number
Yeah, if it's
one.
before 30, he's number one.
So, but longevity of career wise, Patrick Mahomes is fringe
Number,
top 5 for y'all.
yeah, before
Behind,
30, he's number one overall. I would say number 5.
and y'all got Drew Brees, Peyton Manning.
No, I had Aaron Rodgers.
I don't, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Dan Marino, Matt Stafford, Eli Manning, John Elway, Warren Moon, Fred Tarkenton, Carlson Palmer, Vinny Testaverde, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Drew Bledsoe, Dan Fouts, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Kerry Collins, Joe Montana, and Jerry Unitas in your top 25 in passing yards.
Johnny.
Joe
Well,
Montana is
but
number
see, you also
24.
got to remember though, the game was different back then. You know, they didn't have intentional illegal contact, and they didn't. They ran the ball more than 50% of the time. So of course, the passing yards now would be more than back then. But I would still say Montana's better than all of them except for Brady.
So you got Montana, you got Brady, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Who's number 3 again?
Peyton, A-Rod,
A-Rod.
and then my homeboy.
All right. Who you got, Trigger?
I got the same order.
That same order.
Yep.
I got Brady. I got Montana. I would switch. I gotta have Peyton because he beat my team in the Super Bowl. I would switch Mahomes and A-Rod.
So you got Mahomes at number 4, A-Rod at number 5.
Yeah, because Mahomes they in the same NFL. And I mean,
Yeah.
Jordan Love is doing more than Aaron Rodgers did with that Green Bay team, with the younger Green Bay team. So,
yeah, I give you that. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, did he though? Because Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs with that young. Well, even though he did have Devontae Adams. So I mean, I guess you're right in that sense.
I mean, he had Devontae Adams this year, but hey, the NFL is about to get good, fellas, because we got NFL off-season content coming, and we're ready for that. So let's make this transition. But before we transition, shout out to Miles. Miles got his first win the other day in the Madden 25 Challenge. It's BY's 3, Miles 1, as we head back to Dallas for Game 5.
I have no comment.
Hey, Trigger, I had that boy look like the Chiefs today.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what's going on, but every time I get inside the 5, I get nervous. I got at least 5 turnovers inside the 5.
When I saw you run an option, he ran an option with Dak. I'm like, he's running an option with Dak.
You playing like the true Dallas Cowboys of 2024.
Right. Yeah, it's just then DeRon Bland. So there was this play. So every time someone throws a deep pass, I got this thing where I try to stay in front of the wide receiver so he can't pass me. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I threw it behind you because I stopped short now. I see you do that. I stop short with the pass. That's why I do. I hold it and I'll like run behind. When I do this behind you, that means I'm about to just out jump you because I'm throwing it back.
But that was it was just. I told Brandon, I told BY, I was like, man, you got it, bro, because I was just so. I ran the most beautiful 2-minute offense trigger, and I got Ferguson was supposed to score a touchdown. How the fuck he?
That was supposed to. That was a touchdown.
I don't know, but I had no timeouts left.
101 yard pick six
left, so I couldn't run the ball because if I didn't get in, that would have been time. So I had to pass it, and I did a mesh play, where the running back was supposed to run on the outside. He ran straight up into the coverage and had a fucking pick 6, 102 yards. So
damn.
Yeah.
And I had a scoop score.
He had a scoop score that was 98 yards.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, Carolina out there playing outside of themselves, man.
Right.
But no, I don't know. He beat in his win. He dogged me. It was not close in the mile win. I think you were up what 20, 25, 26, I think.
Yeah, it was
It
what
was
31. It was 30-13 at the end of the game.
yeah, yeah. It was bad. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We're going back to Dallas. So we're gonna be blinded by some lights down there in Jerry World. So we'll see. But all right, let's do this. Let's give it up to KD. Shout out to Canva AI for the picture. He's 8th all time on the scoring list, 30,000 points. It came on a free throw. John Morant handed him the ball after the game. What's your thoughts?
No surprise. KD is a scoring machine. Um, I hate, I wish I would have seen what it looked like if he wasn't so injury prone later in his career. He might be a lot closer. He might have had, I don't know, 33,000 or 35,000. Um, he's a walking bucket. Stephen A. said he can pull up from 30. He can score 30 points off of 10 shots. Um, you know, KD, man. He's like I say, he's a score machine. Um, it's just sad to see in Oklahoma City with his scoring efforts. He did not even shoot the most shots in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, definitely.
If Russell Wilson would have played team basketball, I can't imagine
Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook, what that team could have been if but it is what it is.
Yeah, big congrats to him. This is no surprise, and he's going to keep moving up that list. I still think he has, at least another 3 years left, and I know he's 35, 36, something like that.
36.
So yeah, he got 3 more years in the league. He at this pace right now, he's unguardable. I mean, literally, he's unguardable. He has a handle. He's too tall. He's got a very high release on his jump shot, and he's just a pure shot. Can score at all 3 levels. I mean, just it comes so easy to him. So he scores effortlessly. He scores effortlessly. And he's going to continue to, no matter what team he plays for. He's always going to be in that role, hard to guard, and this is just scratching the surface of him. I think he could be top 5 before he retires.
Top 5 before he retires is, I think, as well. So,
yep.
Shout out KD.
And
Scoring.
Yep.
All right. NBA All-Star this weekend. What's your thoughts? What's your feelings? Anything?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot all about it.
Let's tell you everything you need to know about All-Star Weekend.
That's crazy, man.
Love All-Star Weekend, especially All-Star Saturday night. It won't nothing for me to be sitting at the house, 7:30, All-Star Saturday night. The shooting skills competition, and then the PlayStation Skills Challenge, 3-point shootout, and then the dunk contest. People give the dunk contest a hard time. I don't, because my thing is there's only so many ways you can actually dunk a basketball. You're not going to have a slam dunk competition great year after year after year. It's going to go down a couple years because you need fresh minds to come up with something more creative. There's only so many ways you can dunk a basketball. I think the last great dunk contest was 2016? No.
Levine and Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, that was. But what was the one that Aaron Gordon got robbed again?
Him and Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was the last good one. The 2016 was off the charts. That was the greatest dunk contest I've ever seen. But you're not going to have great dunk contests year after year after year. That's one thing I think people done got spoiled. I read a stat. Only 1% of people in this world can dunk a basketball. And we're lucky enough to have someone of that 1% who can dunk a basketball.
We got 2 in our friend group.
Now, who's the second one?
Integrity.
I don't know who the hell that is, but okay.
Daquin.
Oh, my goodness.
Huh?
Daquin.
Who the hell is Daquin?
Daquan.
Oh, I didn't know he could dunk. Oh, my bad.
If you over 6 foot, you should be dunking.
Not necessarily. I know
if you over 6 foot, you should.
So we got 2 people that's 1% in this country that can dunk. So that just goes to show you how
said the
hard
country or the world?
Because for starters, you got to be tall. So But
I almost dunked the other day at the Super Bowl pregame basketball game.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that rim was what 7 feet.
If that.
And you said almost, so you still didn't do it.
I had a reverse. I came in for the reverse, and I told y'all we lose a point if
This is
we lose a
Fisher
point if
Price.
we don't.
Mm,
No, it's a real basketball hoop, but it's just one that was here. We be
mm.
playing.
But yeah, but the All-Star game is a joke now. The players don't even they play underlay defense. All they do is shoot threes. It ain't like how it was in 2001 where it meant something, even though they never won nothing. It meant something back then. It don't mean
You,
nothing now. They
you know
make
the
too much
format
money.
changed this year, right?
Huh?
The format changed this year.
They
You know that.
change it every 3 years, and it still sucks. So what's the
It's a
format this year?
it's a f- it's you got a semifinal. So you got Chuck Kenny's Young Stars versus Chuck's Global Stars. And then the second semifinal is Shaq's OGs versus Candace Rising Stars. And then they have a championship, which is game one winner versus game two winner. And for all three games of the mini tournament, the first team to 40 points wins.
Okay, so what's
So,
the incentive for them to play hard though?
I mean, money, same thing as the in season tournament. But
They're
I
making
mean,
60 million a year. So what's 100,000 though?
so you don't want to get embarrassed because the way they split the teams up, I like it. So you got Shaq got the OG, so he got LeBron, Steph, AD's hurt, Tatum, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Jaylen Brown. Kenny has the young stars, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Tyler Hero, and then Chuck's global stars has Jokic, Shea, Victor Wembanyama, Pascal Siakam, Sengun, Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, and now Trey Young.
Where
And
the
then one
fuck's
of these
Donovan
teams is
Mitchell
getting
from?
Donovan Mitchell from Cavaliers.
No, where is he from if he's on the international team?
I think I forgot his mom's Puerto Rican or something. They said when they was doing the draft.
Oh
That ain't
my
international.
God,
That's a
y'all
U.S.
don't count.
territory.
I don't know. You got Chuck did it, but I think Kyrie Irving took Anthony Davis' spot too. So Shaq has Kyrie, LeBron, Steph, Jason Tatum, Kevin
Well,
Durant,
Kyrie
Damian
should be on the
Lillard.
international. Ain't he from Australia?
I, I don't think was he born there? I thought he was born here.
I know his
And then
dad played in Australia. I know he lived in Australia.
and then Candace's team will be the winning team from a 4-season mini tournament from the best rookies, sophomores, and G League talent. And then those ones, I like some names on these teams. So Coach Jeremy Lin has the G League team. He has J.D. Davidson, Matt McClung, Dink Pate, Reed Shepard, Bryce McGowan's, Pat Spencer, Leonard Miller. Chris Mullen has Stephon Castle, Dalton Connect, Jalen Wells, Keontae George, Zach Edey, Trace Jackson Davis, and Ryan Dunn. Tim Hardaway Sr. has Yami Yakas Jr., the best sophomore player in the league. Grady Dick, Anthony Black, the one of the top picks, Zachary, I can't say his name, Alex Sarr, Tristan De Silva, and Brandon Podominski. And then Mitch Richmond has Amen Thompson, Asur Thompson, Bilal, can't say his name, definitely can't say his name, Yves Missy, Bub Carrington, and Julian Strather. So they're going to be the other team in this. So if I'm one of these OG teams and we get to the finals and I lose to a Rising Stars team, then I would be upset. But like y'all said, there's no
Honestly,
incentive to play hard.
I don't think these players care. They just. I still don't see where they're gonna play hard. If they played hard, I got the international team hands down. But it's just when you're making 70 million a year and you're not trying to get hurt. All these guys are friends. They just don't care about that. I think they should do with bad like how they do in football. Just do away with it. Have the selections. That's it because they don't really play. You still have All-Star Saturday night, but
They got a
the
lot
game.
more events this year too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really just watch for All-Star Saturday night and the celebrity game. I don't even watch the All-Star game anymore. I can't. It's probably been like 10 years since I watched the All-Star game. No, that's a lie. I watched it in 2020. When Kobe died, and that was it.
So
That was the last game I watched.
Yeah.
I thought was super competitive.
Yeah.
And I think, given the circumstances, that's kind of why it was. But
Right.
that game, I don't ever remember being that into an All Star game like I was that one. They had the whole target score thing, and both teams are playing for charity, so there was a little incentive. But I think the biggest incentive was trying to play hard for Kobe. But yeah, that one. The only thing I didn't like about it was the game ended on a free throw with the target score. I like to see like a team actually score like a bucket to have to win that rather than walk it off on a free throw.
Right.
That was the only complaint I had about it. But yeah, guys out there like LeBron, who's late in his career, out there, clamping down, playing hard defense as if it was a game 7 of the NBA Finals. Like it really gave me that feel like it was game 7 of the NBA Finals because both teams were like locking up, playing defense, and like everything was like it was very hard to come by for each team trying to get buckets on offense. So um, obviously that's the kind of action we would like to see. Um, Unfortunately, no matter how they slice it, no matter how many different ways they try to get these players to partake and be invested in it, I don't know if it'll ever happen like that. So it is what it is. I can appreciate the NBA for recognizing that they have an issue when it comes to player participation and the level of seriousness in the competition of the All Star game. And they're trying to find ways to make it better so that the fans can, have a better viewing experience and the players who can actually buy in and be competitive. Um, but it's just not working. Like Mal said, like they've changed the format a bunch of different times here, trying to make it better for everybody involved, and it just does not seem like it's working. Like I think the biggest thing is going to have to come from the players that their will to want to compete and want to do it. That's what it comes down to. No matter how many different things you do to try to force them to compete, they're going to have it in themselves to want to do it in order for any of this to work. And honestly, you ain't got to do all these gimmicks or whatnot and divide these teams up and have a tournament and all this stuff. Just you can have a regular game where you got East versus West. You know, everyone just play hard, play as if it's like a game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Remember
But
remember years ago, Major League Baseball used to do whoever wins the All Star game will get home field in the World Series.
yeah,
Do you think that will work in the
Yes,
NBA?
I think so.
yep. Unless you're an all-star on the team and you're playing and you know your team probably ain't gonna make it to the finals,
Mm.
then you probably wouldn't care. But it's probably only like a handful of guys on either side, maybe like 1 or 2 guys on either side that legit has a chance to make it to the finals, and legit will probably care about that incentive. But you got a bunch of guys around them that don't want them to be successful. So I'm gonna go all out for you to give you home court advantage, and I know my team ain't gonna make it.
Mm.
Should they do it like
So
the NFL and put it at the end of the season?
I wouldn't mind that because now you
Um,
can.
I think. I mean, yeah, it would be good, but I think the All Star Weekend mystique is
Yeah.
during the middle of the season. For starters, you're gonna have more injuries during the end of the season, so you're not gonna have as many participants. Um, and then my thing of it is, what are you gonna do during the Olympic years?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
the NBA Finals is in June. And usually the draft is like late June, so like I'll try to mix it in with like the draft. Like you can do like a whole week.
But
Like
yeah, but
that's what I said. I'm with you on that trigger. Yep.
you know how like WWE does WrestleMania, it's a whole week. Like you got Monday Night Raw on Monday, and then Tuesday they got media. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday they got media stuff, and then Friday you got SmackDown. Saturday you got the first night of the pay per view, and then Sunday the second night. So like they make a whole week out of it. They literally come to a city and take over for a week. The
Yep.
NBA could do the same thing. End of the season. Maybe guys are more willing to do stuff because they're not trying to protect themselves so they don't get hurt for the postseason. But obviously, this time during with the timing of this one, you try not to get hurt for the regular season because you obviously get a major injury. That puts you out for the year. Whereas you got hurt in February, you at least got a chance to come back. But that would be the only thing. But if I'm the NBA, I would look into doing that at the end of the year, acknowledging everybody, doing all the awards, MVP after the playoffs is over with. Who's the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all that stuff. Tied in with All Star Week. Maybe Monday you have like an award ceremony. Tuesday, you have some kind of media engagement with the fans or some kind of event with them, a meet and greet with certain star players or whatnot. Wednesday, maybe you do the draft.
Draft.
Thursday you have like a celebrity game. Friday you do like the Rise of Stars challenge and all that stuff. Saturday you have slam dunk and 3-point contest, and then Sunday you do the actual game. So you can make a week out of it. Go to a different city every year like they do with WrestleMania. And I think they do the draft in a different city. But
Yeah,
like you
draft
can
is
just
different now.
go to a different city every year, and just take over. Have events scheduled throughout the week. Press conferences, media engagement, fan engagement, have little basketball events, giveaways, or contests or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, and you get the fans more invested, and then, like I said, maybe some players who may not care about playing, you got other things that you can be a part of, maybe to show your face, highlight your brand or increase your brand. Um, if you're LeBron James or somebody of that caliber, get out there, get in front of people, and increase your following and all
Do it
that
in
stuff.
Vegas before summer league.
So
Just
I got
Oh yeah, and you might be able to make the summer leagues in July, so that might not
that
work
is
as
true. That's
effective
too
as
late.
some other
Well,
years. But yeah, but like you said, right around draft time when the NBA Finals wraps up, like I think it'd be a good time to have a week. And it's the summertime too, so the weather's gonna be nice no
hmm
matter where you go. More people be willing to travel. Like in February, they have All Star Weekend in Chicago. Like who coming to that?
and it's
And
Valentine's Day weekend during the school year. You have
yeah,
in the summertime.
in the city where people got kids and it's a cold weather city. It might be a blizzard outside. They might not even be able to get to the game.
They in the
So
bay.
you
They in the
so you
bay
do
this
it.
year though.
Yeah,
all
you
right.
do it.
So
You do it in the summertime. You can pretty much go anywhere and be fine.
Right
how
now,
about
And
this?
more
How
kids
about
are
this?
involved because they out of school.
So instead of you'll have so how about you mix teams, like you mix the East and West teams, but let's say if you play on that team, you play on the same team. If you win, you get added 3 wins to your record. If you lose, you be deducted 3 wins. What do you think about that?
your record.
I don't
So
like that.
let's say you go 58-24.
Yeah,
You win the All Star game, you'll go 61-21. But if you lose, you'll now be 55-27. So
for the
now it's
team.
talking about playoff implications now. So now not only your team and coaches depending on you to play hard. I'm just trying to figure out ways to get them to play hard.
I don't think they're gonna play hard unless you put like $2 million a player prizes.
Yeah, they're gonna have to put some of these players' contract that say, hey, if you win the All Star game, maybe you get like an extra amount of money
Yeah,
or
like a
something,
super max. Yeah,
or maybe
yep.
you get a no trade clause or something where they'll be like, all right, well but
Add All Star Game MVP to a super max contract. You have people playing.
yeah, no question. Because anybody
But
ain't honestly can win it. We've seen that.
all right, let's get into our one of our last topics. What are y'all? What's y'all? AD gets traded to the Mavs, goes crazy, gets hurt. Luca, LeBron told you to do your own thing. We just saw the Spurs lose to the Celtics. Jason Tatum had a big game. Milwaukee and
I just
Kuzma.
finished watching that one.
So, what's y'all thoughts after the trade deadline?
Uh,
A lot of shot. Well, the most shocking was AD and Luca. Um, it just sucks that AD just can't stay healthy because I really think the Mavericks will be one of the best teams in the West. But
Mhm.
AD, he's like that dude off of SpongeBob, where he's in a wheelchair and he's just broken to pieces. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
episode where he was like, I can't remember the episode, but that's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Mr. Glass. Have y'all seen Mr. Glass with Samuel Jackson?
I
I
know you
have not.
talking about.
Yeah, that's who he reminds me of, Mr. Glass. That's AD's nickname. Very very fragile. He's 31 years old, but it's looking like now the Lakers might have won that trade. I thought the Mavs won it, but if AD can't stay healthy, what good is he? What good is the trade? I really haven't paid attention to the other trades. De'Aaron Fox went to where? The Spurs.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
They
gonna
just
take some
played.
time. That's gonna take some time. I think next year they'll probably be very good. Depends on who else they get. And honestly, it might just be time for Pop to go. I think he's past his prime.
Eh,
Yeah.
I mean, He's in his
Go in,
70s. He's in his
go
70s.
into GM role. Go into the GM role,
I
Pop.
mean, not even that. Just in, retire, motherfucker. You 70 some years old. Like, what? I mean, what are you still working for? You're 70 some years old. I don't know,
That's true.
but
That's true.
but
Yeah.
uh,
So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. My
but
bad.
yeah. But I mean, I like I like some of the trades. I think the Spurs, that's gonna take some time. You got two young players. And maybe that's the way to keep Wemby in San Antonio because it's the second year. You started next year, you're gonna start hearing them rumors. Oh, Wemby's gonna be going to LA or something like that. So
No. So yeah, I think obviously the biggest trade was Luca and AD, and right now it looks like it's working out better for the Lakers because Luca's available. Um,
They
the
hooping
one
too.
thing, yes, and the Lakers are already also in a pretty good spot. I think they were the fifth seed in the West at the time the trade
32
happened.
and 19 right now.
So they are a top five team, whether we want to give them credit for it or believe it or not. I know AD had a lot to do with that as well. You lose a little defense and some rim protection by shipping them off. However, you do gain a generational talent and future face of the franchise and Luka Doncic. So um, it'll all work itself out eventually with LA. It's interesting to see how they're going to navigate the rest of the season without having a true big man. They did just pick up I forget who it was, Alex
Lynn,
Lynn, or some I guess a center. They just signed one and brought him in. We'll see how that goes. But the Mavericks, if AD can stay healthy, they're obviously a playoff team. And right now, the Mavericks have been fighting pretty much for their playoff lives because Kyrie had been out and missed some time. Luca had already been out since like Christmas, and I think the Mavs also had another player get hurt yesterday or a couple of days ago, along with AD or after AD got hurt. So right now they are reeling. They are trying to tread water and stay afloat
They
and get
about to
these
start
guys
playing right now.
healthy because obviously AD is going to be out with some time with that adductor strain, and it's frustrating with AD because a lot of Lakers fans they know and they know what it's like to lose AD for extended periods of time with all these phantom injuries. And now the Mavericks fans are upset, one, because they traded Luca, and two, you traded him for a guy who has a known injury history, a guy who's known to never stay healthy and be available when you need him most. And right now, the Mavericks need him because, again, they are barely clinging to playoff life right now. And it's not doing the team any favors that they traded away a generational talent, and now they got a guy back in return who is a stud when he does play. He gonna give you defense, and you're not losing a whole lot of drop off on the offensive side of the ball. Um, but again, he's not available. So Mavs fans are double whammy. Like they're even more mad because now Anthony Davis didn't even last 3 quarters. Just when we were starting to regain hope after Luca goes, Anthony Davis came out like he had a chip on his shoulder. Like, hey, I know y'all lost Luca, but let me show you what I can do and what I can be for this team. And it almost like he was on his way to, I'm not saying erasing Luca from their minds, but he was on his way to giving that fan base some hope and something to cheer for after they had been gutted uh, by the franchise and the front office, with that trade. And he was well on his way to doing that, and he gets injured in the third quarter of his very first game with them, and now he's out for who knows how long. Like there's really even no timetable. They just said several weeks. So that another gut punch to the Mavericks fan base. And I feel absolutely terrible for their fans because they were loyal. You know, you just don't trade away players like that and think that people are going to or that's going to sit well with people. Just not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. When he comes back, will they be in position to still make the playoffs? Will they be out of the race? Do you even bring him back at that point and risk further injury if you can't make the playoffs and just rest him for next season? I don't know. But we'll see how things get between Luca and the Lakers, and then AD when he comes back for the Mavs. As far as other trades go, De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio, I do like the trade because you give Wemby a young superstar kind of on his timeline to pair with. That's why I didn't agree with the whole Greg Popovich, going and retiring because Now, after a few years of being bottom of the barrel in the league, they're finally going to be able to compete. And San Antonio has a lot of assets and a lot of things they can do and move around to add even more. Now that De'Aaron Fox and Wemby are together, and with those two, you know, you're more likely to attract more free agents to come play with them because like, all right, we got Wemby, you got a young stud in De'Aaron Fox, like I want to go be a part of that. And San Antonio is not a bad place to be. Trust me, I know. I was just there. So you got that going for them. So be on the lookout for them. They're a young team. They got some assets. They can add some players and be a player in free agency, and they'll have obviously they'll do the due diligence in the draft and all that. So be on the lookout for San Antonio coming up the way we saw the Houston Rockets come up and the Memphis Grizzlies and Oklahoma City Thunder come up. They'll be there the next couple of years or so. I think maybe sooner than that, depending on what they do this offseason. And then Zach LaVine to Sacramento, reuniting with DeMar DeRozan, who were once teammates in Chicago. They've taken their talents out west. Um, Essentially, Zach LaVine replaced De'Aaron Fox. Um, I think the Kings, they got a solid roster on paper. I don't know if that's going to be a championship team, but they're going to be as big a threat as they were a season ago. But it remains to be seen. The West is tough. The West is tough. There's a lot of movement in the West centered around the Luka AD trade. Um, and then you got teams who are already kind of established in OKC doing well, Memphis doing well when they're healthy. The Houston Rockets, top 3, top 14, they're doing well. So, it's going to be competitive in the West. It's going to be a dogfight. The East, you really got a three-headed race. It's the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cavs. That's it. Other teams are
Don't
in
forget
the
about the
mix.
Pistons.
Yeah, but they're not going to beat any three of those teams in 7-game series. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Neither is
that's true.
Miami, neither is Indiana, Orlando, or
What about
whoever else is in
Milwaukee?
the top 10. Milwaukee, Doc Rivers is their
Dame,
coach. That scares me. Dame Lillard has been playing out of his mind as of recent with the Giannis being out. But
Kyle
I
Kuzma,
don't. I just
Bobby
don't know.
Portis.
Bobby Portis is Bobby Portis, and Kyle Kuzma is very up and down to me. Um, he basically replaced Chris Middleton, but like watching I've seen the Milwaukee Bucks play twice since that trade, and I just don't know. Maybe I just give him more time because he just got there, trying to figure everybody out. Get that chemistry down, and we'll see. Kyle Kuzma in Washington, he was obviously, doing his thing because they don't have much in Washington. But you take a player like that from that team and put him with some guys who can play, or where he's like a third option now, like that's going to change things a little bit for him. We saw it with Terry Rozier when Miami made a move and traded for him last season. Terry Rozier was, averaging like 20, 22, 23 points a game in Charlotte. And we came to Miami and he was, behind Jimmy, behind Tyler, and maybe arguably behind Bam. His points per game went way down. And so much so that it carried it over into this season. So some guys, they play on certain teams and they're rock stars, and you take them and put them with a team that's a little bit better, and they got a couple players ahead of them in the pecking order, and the game suffers because of it. So that's probably what we're seeing with Kuzma playing next to Dame and Giannis. He has a chance to kind of show himself after with Giannis being out due to injury and taking that second role or that second option as being the second option to score behind Dame. But Milwaukee, I'm just not sold on them just yet. I need to see a little bit more. And like I said, because Doc Rivers, we know his history in the playoffs. You got to bring that up when you talk about them and him being the head coach of Milwaukee. So, but they're definitely, number 4, right behind New York, right behind Cleveland, and then the defending champs, the Boston Celtics, who continue to run through teams as well. So, those are your top 4 teams in the East. So it's going to be one of those four teams. I'm gonna keep my money on Boston because they're a proven commodity, and they haven't showed me any signs of slowing down. They still got a great team. Porzingis is healthy this year, And if he stays healthy, there'll be even more of a problem. They pretty much won it last year without him. And you add him this year, I think the math would say they win again, because he's healthy. Um, as far as the West goes, I think the favorites right now got to be OKC. They're playing pretty good ball. They got a nice young team. They're only going to get better. Chet Holmgren's coming back soon. They're going to be even more better, or even better. That was terrible English. But yeah, so right now, OKC, Boston, will be my prediction for a finals matchup. But obviously, that could change. Injuries happen. Other teams catch fire, upsets, all those things considered. It's not set in stone, but they're the favorites to me right now.
Beautifully stated, Trigger. And let's move on to spring training. We're gonna touch on this more probably next week because pitchers and catchers first workout I think were today, and we start to get rolling next week. But what's your thoughts?
No,
I hate
baseball
the
season's
Yankees.
on its way. We'll see. I really don't have much input, but the good baseball's back. I'm gonna try to go to some Yankee games in Baltimore this summer, and I'll leave it at that.
April and September, brother. Ain't even no summer games in Baltimore.
Oh dang!
I know. But yeah, I took off one of my days for the April series, so I could try to go catch one of those games. But I think the April series in Baltimore is like during the week, so
Oh
unless
wow.
you can find a way off work and go, unless
Okay.
you're gonna wait till September, those were weekend games in September, I
Is it during
believe.
spring break?
It's like the last week or second to last week in April, maybe.
Oh no.
Last week of April.
No.
I think it's like the 30th, like the 27th to the 30th or something like that.
Oh no.
But we're excited to watch our Yankees win this year. So shout out to the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees. I just want to say one thing about them, because again, I think I said something about it on previously. The Yankees still need another infielder, and right now the issue they were having was moving Marcus Stroman to be able to go get an infielder. Marcus Stroman did report to uh, spring training, and I think things are a little awkward because obviously he knows he's on the trade block. The Yankees have been trying all offseason to trade him off and without success. But there's still time that he will probably end up getting traded eventually. Um, the Yankees can go get an infielder. There are still a couple names out there, but it's starting to dry up. Some of the guys we were looking at potentially adding or signing with other teams. So we're not left with a whole lot of options on the market unless we're going to trade for somebody. One thing that did come up was Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals again. Um, the Yankees were linked to him back in December, right around the time Juan Soto had signed with the Mets, and then we were trying to get guys to fill in for losing out on Soto. But the Yankees were not interested in Arenado, but now the Cardinals have become desperate to trade him. He has a no trade clause as well. And there's three teams allegedly that the Cardinals were negotiating or at least speaking with, and that was the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. The Red Sox make the most sense for him to go to. That stadium suits his swing a little bit better. The Dodgers really don't need him. And the Yankees, Arenado's swing does not fit that stadium as well. But the Yankees do need a third baseman, which Arenado plays. And I think at this point, even if his swing doesn't fit the stadium, he's better than any other option that we have on our roster right now at that position. And he's a Gold Glover. And if anything, if the Yankees' emphasis has been on run uh, prevention by shoring up the outfield and the infield defensively, because that was a weakness last year. We at least got that going for us with him. This guy knows what he's doing at third. And we need that defense. Um, so I would be on board with getting him. I don't think it's going to happen because, of course, when there's a player out there that we need, the Yankees don't get him. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to end up going with one of their in-house options, which is absolutely going to floor me because we don't have a leadoff hitter. We don't have a clear plan of what we're doing in the infield. And, more questions than answers still, even after all the offseason moves. So not feeling very confident. I think right now the team that we got on paper will be good enough to compete because the rest of the division or the actual American League did not get much better than the Yankees. And maybe they're looking at that and they're going, well, nobody around us did a whole lot, so we probably got good enough right now. But I think if the Orioles or the Red Sox or like the Blue Jays, the Royals, the Guardians, whoever, if they all went out and like made big moves, the Yankees probably would have done something about their situation already. I think they're using the Stroman thing really as an excuse. I feel like the Dodgers, if they were in this situation, they would have taken care of it by now. So that's just me. I'm seeing a lot of this, and it pisses me off because like the Yankees and the Cowboys are some of the richest teams in all of sports, but yet y'all always claiming y'all ain't got no damn money.
Ain't none of that
So
money
go
liquid,
spend on
Trigger.
somebody.
Ain't that money that liquid? Ain't that money
Well, to
the
be fair for the
franchise?
Cowboys,
Like the
the
Philadelphia Eagles, like they never have the cap space, but yet they can go out and get Saquon and Hassan Reddick and all these other guys and put a championship roster together every offseason. They
That
find a
money
way to
liquid.
do it. The New Orleans Saints right now have the worst cap space in all of football, but I guarantee you they go out and make more moves in Dallas. Like when you see stuff like that, and then same thing with baseball, the Dodgers are doing it right now. Like how are the Dodgers continuously going out and getting they just signed somebody else. How are they still going out and getting all these top tier players added to a team that just won the World Series? How are they doing all this? And the Yankees just over there sitting on their hands. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, y'all getting paid big bucks to figure out how to make the cap work, not to sit back and be like, well, we're trying to be conservative. Like, for what?
That's why you go get
How do
caps.
you win? How do you win championships being whoever won a championship being conservative? Who?
The New England Patriots. The year they beat the Rams in Super Bowl 3-2.
No. Nope.
The worst Super Bowl I've seen.
And when I talk conservative, I'm talking like spending, like going out, getting guys, going all in. Hear
the
that,
Cincinnati
Jerry?
Bengals.
Going all in.
Cincinnati don't spend no money, but
If they don't spend no money, then they must draft really, really well then and develop players really, really well to be as competitive as they've been. So,
all right,
you can
folks.
do that, I guess.
It's that time of night. What's y'all ending thoughts as we head out of here?
All right. So Valentine's Day is coming up Friday.
Don't go
Here
through
you
that.
go.
Fellas,
Don't go through that phone.
Here you go.
Before you start spending all that money, before you start making all those plans, before I got to do this for my girl, check that damn phone. Fellas, I guarantee you she texting her side dude, this nigga better be doing something for Valentine's Day. And if that's the case, let him spend his money on Valentine's Day. Check that phone before you spend that money.
Stop ending on him.
Come on
Fellas,
now.
don't listen to
Valentine's Day,
Miles.
don't be going broke on Valentine's Day over these women because they ain't worried about you. They got a backup plan. Check that phone.
And the viewers are asking, when are we getting another episode of Snowed In?
Well, shit, probably Thursday.
Next Thursday. Trigger, you off next Thursday?
No, I actually have to work next Thursday.
You always got to work in the snow.
Keep going. Yeah, now I keep going into the snow. Yeah. So I worked yesterday. I worked Friday. Off Saturday, Sunday. Work Monday, off Tuesday, Wednesday. Yep. Go in Thursday. Yep.
Dang. Well,
Amber. I love my job. I love my job.
Old
It
government.
is not.
Right, Lady
work.
Ray. Lady
Ray. Sorry. I
Lady Ray
love my job. Okay, it is not work. It's nothing to boo. I promise you. I'm
And
just
shout
mad I
out,
gotta be in the snow when I do it. That's all.
shout out Trigger's employer. He works at the Players Club down there in
Mhm.
Lynchburg.
That's
Lynchburg.
right. That's right. I do it my off days.
Mm-hmm.
Part
Go
time
go.
pimp.
Please go support him, his boss Dollar Bill. Um,
Pimping.
fellas, don't go through that phone. It's Valentine's Day weekend. Happy early birthday to Soul. Man.
Uncle Ibrahim, shout out.
Please don't check on people's phones, is what Lady Ray say. Fellas, don't do it on
Yeah, because
Valentine's Day.
Lady Ray, one of those women that do you dirty. That's why she don't want nobody to check her phone because she out
Oh
here
my
doing her
goodness.
thing.
Oh
She
my
condone
goodness.
that behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fellas, if she want a ring, that phone better be on ring. All right, I'm B Wise.
I'm triggered.
And you gonna go through that damn phone.
We
Before you
out.
start
Peace.
spending that money, fellas, do your research.
Hedge your bets. All right,
Mhm.
we out. Peace,
Peace.
peace, peace.